Now on the docket, chances are you subscribe to at least one streaming service, if not several. But have you read the fine print in the terms of service? You may want to after hearing this story. Last October, Jeffrey Piccolo's wife had an allergic reaction after eating at a restaurant at Disney World in Florida. Her husband, who says the waiter assured them the food was allergen-free, filed a wrongful death lawsuit in February. He is asking for a jury trial where damages tend to be higher. But Disney's attorneys are angling now for arbitration, and they contend that's what Piccolo agreed to when he signed up for the Disney Plus streaming service. Trial attorney Ted Spaulding is here with me now. Ted, help me make sense of this. What is Disney's argument here? Because it's a bit shocking.
It is. Your reaction, I think, is the reaction of a lot of people to this argument. I've looked into it a little bit. Obviously, this is Florida, so it's Florida law that would apply. And I think it's a stretch. They're taking a shot. I think it's a low percentage chance in my position that they'll win on this argument. The main reason, Carolyn, is there's several different points in Florida law that can kick out an arbitration clause. And the one that really triggers here in my mind, and I think causes reaction like the one that you had, is scope. You're signing either the contract or, in this case, you're online and you're signing up at a subscription. The idea is the arbitration clause would certainly cover any claims having to do with that contract. So that's the Disney Plus contract, not something totally separate from it. So it's a scope issue, I think, that would probably end up tripping this. I think the plaintiff's attorney in his comments are pointing directly to that, which is this is unconscionable. How can you sign up for one thing and it's going to bar you from ever being able to bring a cause of action against that entity for anything, even if it's unrelated? So I think this is a real stretch.
Here's this woman who had severe food allergies, who the medical examiner determined she died from these allergies after eating at a restaurant at Disney. How much of this is personal responsibility, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, certainly if this case goes forward, whether it's arbitration or not, but definitely in front of a jury of your peers, that is something that they're going to be asked to look at. The defense, that's going to be their big argument. Which is, look, you have personal responsibility, you know your allergies, to look into these things. Now, of course, the counter from the plaintiffs will be just the opposite. Yes, but I'm putting my trust in people when I'm telling them what my allergies are. They're in control of the food, not myself. I'm not cooking at home, so I don't have full control. They're telling me allegedly that this is completely safe for me. And that's really what it's going to come down to. What is the real proof of what this waiter told the plaintiff? That's, I think, where this horse race is and what will happen, whether it's arbitration or it ends up a jury trial.
And speaking of that, what is the difference between having a jury trial versus arbitration? Who does that benefit?
So the theory is it generally benefits the defense. And the reason for that is it's just like when you're having to make a decision between a jury trial or a bench trial, where the judge makes a decision instead of a jury of your peers. In a personal injury case, this being a wrongful death case, it's the same concept. You're going to have an attorney, basically, who's the arbitrator, the judge, that would make the decision on liability. Are they at fault for the death or not? And if they are, how much is the life of this individual who's been lost worth? That's where typically the defense gets some leverage, because the theory is a lawyer, much like a judge, is going to be a little bit less drawn to the sympathy, those sorts of things that create those higher verdicts. So that's why the plaintiffs certainly are fighting very hard to want to keep this a jury trial in front of the plaintiffs' peers.
What would your advice be to the more than 150 million Disney Plus subscribers worldwide?
Well, certainly it's what every lawyer's advice is when you're signing a contract, right? So again, you might not be physically signing something, you're clicking buttons. Read what you are signing. Now, this is going to be part of the argument as well, not to get too deep into the law, but part of the issue is, look, you either sign it or you're not going on our service. So part of the argument contractually would be like, look, I didn't have a choice. I either do this to get to this service or I don't. But again, it's always good to read everything before you're agreeing to something.
You know, the interesting thing is part of this as well, part of this lawsuit as well, it's not just the streaming service, it's also the platform used. Apparently Piccolo used the Disney app to purchase tickets to Epcot. And this has nothing to do with the actual restaurant trip that they took that ended in her death. And that too, in order to use that, you agree to terms and services. So what do we as consumers need to know to protect ourselves? Because it seems like everything you have to agree to terms and conditions to even do anything these days.
Yeah, it's really, again, for that exact reason, it's hard to give advice. What do you do? Well, all you can really do at this point is read what you are agreeing to. And if you have some real issues with the rights that you may possibly be giving up, then don't sign up for that. Don't go to that park. Don't participate in whatever it is. That's really the only way, in my mind, you can force change. So if there's some real draconian type language in these things, the only way the public's really going to get a big company like Disney to change is to stop using their product. Because of the language that are in these contracts.
Yeah, easier said than done, that's for sure. Trial attorney Ted Spaulding, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.